Are you experiencing some additional holiday stress this year? Yeah, me too. But stay tuned because our guest today has some great advice for all of us. I'm Andrea, and you're watching Scan FYI.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Marybeth Kwapniewski. I'm the program coordinator here at SCAN, and I'd like to welcome Vinny Smith, who's with us today from Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Jersey. Good morning, Vinny.
Good morning, Vinny.
Good morning, Andrea and Marybeth. How are you?
Thank
you for having
me. It's nice. First of all, we have to say that you've been a great supporter of SCAN for a long time, and we've always enjoyed your presentations.
Thank you.
Done with good humor.
Absolutely.
We'll have a little of that today.
We're going to need it. We're going to need it. So what makes this year unique for holiday stress?
Wow.
Might as well start off.
I have come across a new cliche for the year 2020. This is very, very appropriate, and I think you're going to understand it. 2020, and especially now during the holiday season, this is what 2020 is like, and hopefully will end soon. But what it's like is trying to eat a bowl of water with a fork. Stop and think about that. Okay, so that's what it was like. I can get more deeper into it, but I think that encompassed the whole thing. But with stress and everything along those lines, and what makes it so unique during the holidays is that it's going to amount more because of the stressors that we have associated with it. Holiday is supposed to be cheerful and happy and togetherness and family and gifts and fun. We can still do that to a certain extent, but we're going to stress out about it when we especially know that some of it is not available. And I'll go into that later on when we talk about some other different things. But the most stressful thing right now during holidays is separation of family.
Right.
We can't have those 14, 16, 20, 30 people at a big gathering. My family has what they call a cousin's Christmas party every year. The cousins exchange gifts, the aunts and uncles. Of course, there's 8 of us in the family. We don't, but we all the kids, and we rent a big hall, and we have up to 90 people. Wow. That's all the brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, and children. And it's a great, great time. Not this year. Not this year.
No.
Are you doing something different?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you doing something different? Just out of curiosity.
What we have been doing, all the brothers and sisters, is that we have a adult Zoom. We get together, brothers and sisters, and we talk about things and how's this going and how's that going. And then that became stressful because my brother-in-law comes down with the COVID and he gives it to his wife, my sister. The rest of us have maintained health, fortunately, that way. The cousins have their own Zoom, and I sneak in all the time when I can because it's hilarious. Everybody has to be muted or else we have 17 or 18 of them all talking at the same time. And they have no clue how to control themselves because they're so happy to be able to exchange, to communicate with each other. Zoom is not personal physically, but it's still mentally personal.
Right.
And it's still a great thing along those lines.
Well, definitely.
I'm so happy with Zoom. It's great.
We're doing
all
it
now.
Making good use of Zoom too.
Absolutely.
It's kind of the only way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Vinny, what are some of those ways that people might be able to identify that they're feeling stressed? Like, I would hope that everyone would recognize it, but maybe some people, don't know what those signs might be.
Well, before we even go into signs, let me do a little bit more of identification of stress, okay?
Right.
So people can understand that. You want to be able to identify stress, okay, but you have to know what causes the stress. Now, we know that stress is anything that makes us worry, okay? No, there's not much happening in 2020 that's making us worry. We're talking about situations that are both physical, political, and personal, okay? Those are the 3 big stressors that we have. Now, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. When I talk about political, I don't care who you voted for, all right? That's your own personal business. But the stress that was in the political arena coming up to the election during the process after it, okay, and unfortunately will continue on for some time yet in the future, is very stressful to many people. It's
Yes.
turned my wife into a lunatic, okay, because she favors one person over another, as most people are. And one of the things, and I'll talk about that later when you tell me how to relieve stress, is that I make her shut the news off at 7 o'clock at night. No more. You ain't watching the news anymore. I say, I'll shut the TV off. I'll throw it out. No more news. Okay. So you have that political stress, and then you have the personal stress. And the personal stress is what I just talked about, not being able to sit down with your family. We were fortunate during the summer months because, like I said before to you, before I actually went on, my 3 children are all into education, and 2 out of the 3 of my son-in-law and my daughter-in-law are also education, and one of them is not, but he's in a refined business, so where he wasn't involved with public. So we had our own little bubble, what they call a bubble now, where you all stayed together and didn't go outside of it. And we would all meet at my daughter Lauren's house, and we had stress releasing time. We could all be together, the 6 grandchildren, okay, the 8 adults, okay, barbecue, swim in the pool in the backyard and stuff like that. Because that's tremendous, that's personal. But the bottom line there is that, unfortunately, my wife has a twin sister, okay, born July 4th, obviously is my wife, and she has a son born July 5th. We always had this big gathering for July 4th at my house, and maybe a few fireworks. I'm not saying for real. But what happens is that we couldn't do that anymore. That became a personal stress because on July 4th, we had to keep our bubble, okay? So her twin sister, the nephew, her other older sister, and other family members, including my own. No, I'm sorry, you can't come to my daughter Lauren's house for my wife's birthday because we have a bubble. Okay?
And you're maintaining it. You're not letting.
Yeah, we kept it until they had to go back to teaching, and now we don't have that anymore.
Right.
But we also then have the physical type of stress. The physical type of stress, I thought you already shut me off with that phone.
Sorry, I forgot to
That's
turn off
okay.
the phone.
We have the physical type of stress, and we're really going to go into that more in depth a little bit later, because you have mental, you have physical, and what's going to happen is that this is the stress of 2020, and this is what's going to cause a lot of problems. The physical stress will actually cause not only mental and physical, it will cause you to get ill and because you get sick and have a lot of different things in your life you never experienced before. So now that we cleared that up, would you repeat your question again, Marybeth? So I can go into
My question was, I would hope that most people know how to identify when they're feeling stressed, but what might be some of those signs that people should be looking for?
Well, there's physical, there's mental. Stress is anything that is not out of the ordinary, that is negative. That is negative, okay? That's what it is. You have routine stress, you have the routine stress, the physical signs is a quick feeling of like sadness. All right. So your routine stress going through during the day is that you're making a meal for dinner and somehow it gets burnt. That becomes, you get angry. Okay. And you get upset about it, but that passes because you're going to eat something else. All right.
Right.
So that's your routine stress. That's an example. But then you also have the other type of stresses that will cause situations that aren't routine. Okay, now you have the very, very heavy duty type of stress. All right, and that basically is something that's usually a permanent thing or something that is long lasting, and
Like
that gives you
2020.
that gives you a lot more signs. The symptoms that you are doing that is that, well, let me just make sure I know what I'm talking about, because I want to check my notes real quick if you don't mind, because there's a whole lot of them. Again, illness. We're talking about illness. We're talking about problems with sleep. We're talking about sadness, depression, and that's a really big one. That's a mental one. The physical one, lack of sleep, poor sleep,
Eating,
heart problems,
right?
heart problems. All of a sudden you start getting palpitations where you never had them before. Okay, all of a sudden now with the blood pressure is going up on you. You're getting irregular heartbeats. You even having problems with cholesterol. That's physical stuff. That's all involved with your heart like that. Irritability, being irritable, where before you were so patient. If your granddaughter, your grandson, your son, your daughter, whoever it might be, they have quirks. They do things that used to just ignore you, but you'd fluff it off. Now you would say, hey, don't hold the fork like you're a barbarian. Eat your food right. That's not your place as a grandparent. That's the parents. But now all of a sudden you blurt it out and you say it. That's the sign of irritability. When your spouse used to sit next to you on the couch to watch TV at night, and you start looking at him or her and going like, give me some room. All of a sudden, things irritate you that never irritated you before. That's a big sign. That's mental. The physical signs, again, like we're going to go back to sleep. And I do a whole thing on sleeping because just so you can learn how to sleep better. Because people say you get older, you need less sleep. No, you don't. You need the same amount of sleep because your body needs it even more so. Right. So when you get those signs along those lines and you start getting illnesses that you haven't had before, now you're getting signs that something's not right. And when something's not right, what's the first thing you should do? Consult your own doctor. Right. And let that doctor know that. Go to that doctor. Write all these things down on a piece of paper and go to the doctor and say, Doc, I know it's a bad time and a hard time, but I've never had this before. You're going to show some mental and physical signs of being stressed out. You have to learn how to deal with that stress in order to eliminate those problems. You can't eliminate the problems of 2020 by yourself. That's not happening. So you have to eliminate the problems that are personal to you to make that happen.
But Vinny, can I mention something? Is that I think one thing everyone has to do is you have to acknowledge to yourself that this is actually happening and it's okay. So because
Andrea, you just hit on a great point. Great point. Because one of the symptoms that we get when we're under stress and we're overstressed is denial. Denial sets in. What you knew to be true, you now doubt. You also say, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. We sometimes have that under normal circumstances too. But what happens is that denial comes in and goes, we don't pay attention to what our body's trying to tell us. Mm-hmm. If we're waking up in the morning at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock every morning, guess what? There's a reason for that. You used to sleep like a log. Now you sleep like nobody. Okay, it's terrible. But we fluff it off. No, it's no big deal. Fortunately, human beings, if we don't see blood, swelling, perspiration, or craziness about the body, we ignore it. You know, this will go away. Okay, that's what kills a lot of people. They ignore things. They deny things. Don't deny anything. Find out why. Always find the cause. Bring it backwards. I know you've heard me say this before. There are some things that we should be concerned with or we should worry about, okay? So we can fix them. Alfred E. Newman philosophy, for those that remember Mad Magazine, his philosophy is what me worry? Okay, what you can't control, I understand that. But what you can control, you have to be concerned with and you can't deny it. So you have to make sure that you keep yourself healthy.
Well, I think it's fair to say that everyone has a bad day every so often. And, you know, we get up the next day and we move on. But you're really talking about something that's going on for days and maybe even into weeks where we have to say, hey, something, we have to own it, that something is wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, things can go awry and we can adapt to it. We have the mental behavior that we can adapt to things. For instance, I went for a COVID test because I'm going to have some surgery on Thursday. Okay. Now, I'm now quarantined until I have that surgery. All right. Now, that's only 3 days. I still go out. I'm the one that goes out and does the food shopping now. And I'm the one that's going out there into the germs and the bacteria and the viruses and all that stuff because I want to keep my wife safe because my grandkids need her more than they need me. That's my philosophy. But the bottom line is that when you get these concerns, like I have now with the quarantine and I can't do anything, it makes me aggravated, but I know it's for the good. So now when we have these type of things, stop and go back and say, okay, I can't go down and hang out with the guys at the Pandera and have coffee with them every more because we can't have groups. and you can't drink your coffee and have a mask on at the same time. So you need to adapt to it. Okay? Yeah, you can still go down there, but sit 6 feet away, 8 feet away, 10 feet away, have your coffee. But once you're done with your coffee, put your mask back on, and don't face each other. Follow the rules and regulations or the guidelines. Let's put it that way so people don't get upset. The guidelines that you should be using. That's how we adapt, and that's how we do that. Okay, when we can't figure a way out, because like you said, we now have the things what's going on for weeks, months, maybe a year. All right, not the one thing. You might wake up and something might happen in the morning and you'd be irritable for the rest of the day. That's called mood. All right, that's really part of stress, but that's a temporary short stress. We're having longer stresses now. So what we have to do is we got to go back to and realize and understand and comprehend what the cause is and what we can do to overcome it. And that's how we will stay much more stress-free and learn to cope with the situation rather than fight it. Because when we fight it, we make it worse.
Yeah.
So now we're just about, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's. It's all happening right now, and overlay the whole thing with COVID. So what are some thoughts that you want to share with our listeners? Some things that we can all do that we could take to heart to make this a better holiday. We're not going to be stress-free. We know that, but what should we be doing? What should we be thinking of?
First off, we're going to talk about mentally, okay? Understand what the problem is, cope with it, understand it, okay? Then you try to figure out how to overcome it. Just don't throw your hands up in the air and say, oh, we can't do this. No, let's sit down and let's figure out what can we do. What are we doing right now? I can't go in to scan in Monmouth where you have it, and neither are you, I guess, because you look like you're sitting in your lovely homes.
Right.
So we have now adapted, and we're doing a Zoom, and we're doing a taping. So everybody that's going to be looking at this when they want, okay, will see that we have adapted to benefit them presenting this, but under different circumstances. So one of the first things you do is that you have to comprehend is, how can I make this better? How can I make it a good feeling instead of having a negative feeling? I know I'm not going to sit at the table and be able to say grace, for Christmas dinner. Right. I know I can't light the candle each night because I don't have the people here, but you can. What are we doing right now? There's a lot of different technology. Now, senior citizens, some of them aren't so good, but the ones that are going to watch this are capable, obviously, because they got on this. So think about how you can help each other with that too. So have a Zoom dinner. It's as simple as that. Put everybody on Zoom, sit down, do what you have to do. Say your grace, say your mentions, tell them what you're eating. They can tell you what they're eating and stuff like that. Share electronically if you know how. It helps. Okay, it's not the best thing in the world. You're not going to taste the food. You can't hug your grandkid because he's 60 miles away instead of being there in your kitchen or your dining room. Okay, but it's still better than sitting on the couch and saying, poor me, I can't see them, I can't talk to them. Try to figure out a way. Greatest invention in the world. Whoa, cell phones. Okay. I don't know whose name is on this one now, but the situation is that's an inside joke with me and Andrea. What you can do is that you can have a conference call. That's not hard to figure out. Okay, how to do that. Or just call them singularly. Talk to them on the phone. Okay, or send them a text message saying, I will call you at 1 p.m. And then you go to the next one and I will call you at 2 p.m. and make a schedule up so they know to answer the phone that you're calling and reach out that way. Talk to them. These things have face-to-face. You can see them when you're talking to them. That is so much better. Try doing that. Or the regular phone, talking to them. Communication in some way, shape, or form is the best thing to help us get through this holiday season, okay, which has already started and will continue into January by doing this, and do it as much as you want. That's one great way of doing it. My wife has now sat down and she's now doing personal letter writing in cursive too. How about that?
In cursive.
Not on this, not sending emails. And she's enjoying it because she's sitting there and she's occupying her mind and she's thinking and all positive things and she's writing them down. So start sending some letters or a card, Christmas card, Hanukkah card, any type of card, just a greeting card. Okay, whether it's religious or holiday, doesn't matter. Or all of them, send as many as you want. Nice little notes in there. Again, communication is going to help you get through the holiday season during the COVID time too. Don't just do it for the holiday season, but probably step it up a little bit. Be more imaginable with what you want to talk about and what you want to say, and accept things back.
So I feel, you know what I'm really taking to heart here is that you're advising everyone to embrace the new way of technology and the new way of communicating, because otherwise there might be nothing. But clearly
Exactly.
technology offers us a lot, and we do need to embrace it rather than fight it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, you got a lot of time on your hands. Sit down and learn it. Okay, just don't put the on button on and hope that you find something. Okay, you can even learn how to use it more if you know already. But the idea is, what am I doing here? Am I being positive? Is that not what we have to be? If we sit back and become negative and I do this, okay, who wants to talk to me? Hey, Sharon, how you doing? All right. Or, oh, Sharon, you look great today. Your picture, I can see everything right in the picture. There's great background. Look at the beautiful pictures of the flowers behind Marybeth. Now, if she was my daughter, I would say, you know, I really like that. That's beautiful. Maybe I might have to get one for your mom and stuff like. Just be positive. Stop being negative. The world's not going to end. We're unfortunately going to have people that are going to become deceased. We probably have some in our own families already. But you know what? We have to go on from the point we are at now forward. There's no looking back. If you do look back and you want to reminisce, just good things. Just good things. Okay. And that's the way to cope, is being positive, move forward, communicate as much as you can personally. Okay. And it's going to get you through this COVID, whether it's holiday season or regular time. Use the guidelines, please. Not only for yourself, but for other people, for everybody. Don't see, I'm going to get on a roll here. I'm trying not to. But if you don't follow the guidelines, okay, that's denial, number one, because they're scientifically based. They're not personally based. They're not coming from one politician or not the other. They're coming from common sense, from science. Follow the science. Okay. The science is what got us through the first one way back in what, 1860, 1960. I forgot the date. Okay. It got it through that. It gets us through the flu. If we didn't have flu vaccination, there'd be a lot less people talking to each other right now, too. If you don't believe in vaccinations, but you can still put the mask on your face, okay, and keep your distances, because this is to benefit everyone, not only yourself. Don't be selfish, okay? Again, what is that? Positive. Stay positive.
Good advice. Well, Marybeth, we were talking also about some other community resources that we wanted to share with people. So
Right.
did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, I did want to share that Monmouth University, their School of Social Work, their grad students, they have an intern program. It's free. There's a hotline. We'll include that in the comments section of this. And Vinny, like you said, you can always do a Google search and look up mental health in the county that you live in. And, you know, first and foremost, you always want to reach out to your primary care doctor.
Absolutely.
Any other? Okay.
Well, there's like the two that we just discussed already, but anytime you don't feel right, reach out to your primary care, because a lot of them right now, you don't even have to go to the office. You can have face-to-face on your phone or on your computer, your choice, whatever you know how to do.
Yeah.
So you can really sit down. But you know what? When you want to go visit your doctor because you have some problems, write them all down on a piece of paper first, so you don't forget them when you talk to your doctor, even if you're going into the office. Keep that piece of paper with you and say, well, I'm here because of this. This is what doctors say. They can't guess what's wrong with you. You have to tell them. You have to tell them what your problems are, so they can make that puzzle into one piece and give you good advice and direct you down the line. And if the primary care can't do it, they may send you to other places that can give you help that he or she may not be able to.
Right.
So that's your first step all the time right away. First step is you yourself and recognizing. Once you recognize, now do something about it. But there's so many of them along those lines. And like you said, Google mental health assistance, Monmouth County, and you'll see a whole thing. that comes down. If anybody wants some, basically, if you don't mind, personal help along the lines, you can contact me. All right, and I'll be glad to help you. Email me, okay? Can I give my email?
You can give your email, but we can also put it in the comments. So
Yes,
that
put it in the
people
comments.
can reach, we'll put Vinny's contact info in the comments so that you can reach
Right,
out
the
to
work
him.
email. The work
Yes.
email. I'll have
Yeah,
my work
work
computer
email,
fixed
not
by
to
then.
worry. Yikes.
So,
Okay,
Okay.
well, I think that we have to embrace the new technology. We have to find alternate ways of communicating and being together during the holidays, because we want holidays to have some good memories. And this is the only way we're going to be able to do it. And don't
Absolutely.
be like Cleopatra, the queen of denial. If something is wrong, you got to take care of it. We always say if you fell and you broke your leg, you'd go right to the emergency room. So if something isn't right mentally, if something isn't right and you're not feeling well, you owe it to yourself and your family to take care of that as well, right?
Absolutely. And don't forget, maintain that positive attitude.
That's right.
And maybe turn off the news.
Oh yeah, please shut that news off at 7 o'clock and don't watch it anymore. All it's going to do is aggravate you. Maybe you want to watch it at 12 o'clock and then maybe again at 6 or 7, but then shut it off. You need at least 3 hours of calm to get a good night's sleep.
Okay,
So
good
if you
to
shut it
know.
off at 7 and you go to bed at 10 or later, you should have a better night's sleep. Don't let poor communications destroy your mind. In other words, don't let it upset you, okay? Because we don't know what half the stuff is real and what's not real anymore. So don't get aggravated over what you can't control and what you don't truly need. Stay positive. Have a great holiday season, and thank you all for having me here.
Oh, thank you, Vinny.
Well, thank you very much, Vinny Smith. It's been our pleasure. And always remember, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr, and thank you for watching Scan FYI.
Have a good day, everyone.
I'm Marybeth. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.